And we are live. Good morning, real closers. Good morning. We're back every
Back
Wednesday.
every
Coffee,
Wednesday,
coffee for closers every
or
Wednesday at 8:30.
coffee or matcha tea, whatever floats your boat at the time.
Yeah. So for sure we want you to drink coffee with us today, but if you can't, it's all right. It's all good.
Sometimes I'll broth.
All right. So we've talked about, Facebook leads, conversion rate. Um, People keep asking questions, right? And what we're going to talk about today is what is the first step at getting that lead through your funnel, right? We've talked about top of funnel, bottom of funnel leads. How do we take top of funnel leads to actual closings? And it all starts with a conversation. So
Yep.
that's the topic of today's coffee for closers. Again, guys, please, if you have comments, drop them. If you found value with this, just drop a one, comment on one. Let us know that what we're doing here every Wednesday is helping. We're bringing value to the members and real closers. Questions, drop them. Message them to me if you want to. We're here. We're here to support. So,
Yeah,
all right,
and let
Marcus.
us know. Let us know what you want to hear more of. Right. I think that's the key too. Is what is the subject that's really pressing on your heart, on your mind right now? Things that you want to learn and go deep, dive deeper into. Um,
And actually, that's a good thing because what I could do in the group is maybe a poll, right, and put
yeah.
different topics, and then we can tackle those each one of those as we go through every Wednesday.
Yeah, and as we're talking about creating conversations, I think the understanding of social media, especially lead generation from social media and top of funnel, Facebook right now is what we're really speaking to, and Instagram is starting to kind of unravel what that looks like because I think we're in this microwave society where we just expect immediate results and maybe 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago it was a lot different. You didn't have a lot of options out there, but with social media, it's where everybody is. That social dilemma is where everybody is. That's where you need to be. And so, but there is marketing objectives that you have to understand on Facebook, on Instagram, on really any social tool. That's all about how do you get that person to stop the scroll, right? The scroll itself is you on your phone, mindlessly just using your finger and scrolling as you're just being entertained, right? That's the dilemma right there. How do you get them to stop that in that moment is huge. And from what we've found, 70% of that, we've alluded to this in the past, in the quadrant of lead generation principles that really will dial you into unleash the floodgates of lead gen for you. It comes down to the actual image you're using. It's not a video that you're doing. That's good. That's great for repurposing or retargeting or remarketing type of thing. But an actual image itself, that's organic. That's native to your area within that 15-mile radius because of the minimum radius requirement with the Housing Discriminatory Act. 15 miles is your starting point, and you have to start there. So you're almost reverse engineering everything because you're looking for conversations, but first you need leads. And lead itself stops that scroll and the click happens, and the click to contact is where you have to start discovering, okay, if someone's going to give me some sort of information, I got to know what information. Is it a phone number? Is it a name? Is it what? It depends on your objective, right? Whether you're running a lead ad, which is a Facebook form, or you're running something different, which would be squeeze pages and dynamic ways of capturing. And so that might go over people's head in the first part, right? They're just like, I just want leads, but what type of leads do you want? Most typically, people are going to say seller leads, right? Everybody wants seller leads. Now, this market's shifting, things are changing, interest rates are climbing, inventory is going low. Like we all know the rumors. Like it depends. Probably it's a little bit different here in the West Coast where we're both a part of. Versus seems like trends start here, right, and then it kind of moves to the east. And multiple offer scenarios are still happening all over the United States, but in some places it's not so much like that anymore.
Yeah, it's
So
changing.
it's changing. So you have to be understanding as the climate changes, so does your conversations. And I would say, so does the way you present yourself, because a lot of people, what they don't understand is when you click on something, there is a speed to lead element of that, and that's important. But it's also understanding what information is going out from your own systems in that moment, and are they fresh? Are they in tune with the times? Or are you leaving automations on there that have been there for a year? Right? Do you reverse engineer in such a way where you're always keeping information relevant? And so conversations are always starting, I find, when you use something that's truly authentic as a connection piece. Video is going to be the big thing for you. Video, video, video on the follow up. When I say follow up, you need systems. There's a lot of different video systems out there for follow up mechanisms, but BombBomb seems to be my fave, based on what I've been in the industry for, doing this for almost 7 years now. They're still the best for email solutions, because if you're having email drip, SMS is a separate conversation altogether. But email in itself, that seems to be the connection piece, especially for a home value funnel that we find. That's the first impression they get of you, because if someone in our own funnel provides their address and then follows up with an email, they may have not given you their name or phone number yet, but at that moment, the digital door knocking opportunity begins. Because you have, let's just say, a 3-minute time delay that shoots off that email, and there you are, authentically connecting. And it's how you, because let's be honest, those people are going to see a smile. Body language is massive, right? They don't even get tonality yet, but they see through a GIF, which is a movement within. People probably know what a GIF is. It's like a movement. Your mouth hasn't opened, voice hasn't come out yet, but you guys have all seen it probably when you go, when you use GIFs, first of all, in social, but on email, there's a GIF component where someone's like seeing you wave, mouth something, they know it's a real person, they have to click to actually see the content of that video and what is going to be spoken, and that's your tonality. So in that moment in time when someone goes back thinking they're getting one thing, and here's another thing, right? Someone clicks on something thinking it's an automatic list or a home value or whatever that is. That impression is your first moment. And that moment might make or break you. It may have to do with your presentation style. It may have to do with the lighting. It may have to do, like, for example, I remember I was working with a gal, and we tried to encourage her, but she would do all her videos in a dark room, in her bedroom. The bed was in the back. It was just not professional, nor would it be inviting to want to click on. Right? And then if you look at my background, well, it's not the best background, but it always begins a conversation. Because it's always like, where are you? What is that? What, and so it's stuff like that. You got to think psychologically. People are making a million decisions a day, and their decision to click on that video rather is going to be really that first moment they look at it in milliseconds. Are they going to click it or not?
And I've seen a few people take it a step further with video, where they create video in different stations, right? So for example, or different seasons, right? If it's raining, right? If it's a rainy season, then they take a video and then they send it to their leads so that it feels like that video just happened, right? They do this 2, 3, 4, 5 different videos with the same message, and then they send it depending on the season. If it's in the morning, they'll send one that's they recorded in the morning. If it's in the evening time, they'll send one that, so they're taking it a step further, right? And not just because
if it's Christmas time, there's a tree in the background, right? If it's
exactly,
it just and that's the beauty, because that's your moment. And then also realizing that some people, they'll sit back and observe, and the conversation will always begin in the morning, but they're going to observe your integrity. They're going to observe if you're giving them what they asked for. They'll sit back and watch and not necessarily respond, but they're engaged, right?
exactly.
So an engagement that's that know, like, and trust model. So the top of funnel is like giving the ball at the 1 yard line and saying, okay, now it's for you want to get that touchdown, you want to get that listing appointment. Well, you got to get through those 12 defenders, right? And you've got all these. It's like you're going to either figure it out on your own, or you're going to create a system, which is your team, right? Your team, your linemen, your receivers, your quarterback, all of that stuff is going to get you the end zone. But is that system authentic? Is it genuine? Is it strategic? Is it giving value? Is it proceeding with authenticity and education? Because just because I'm curious today about my home's value doesn't mean I'm ready to list it. So asking the right questions in that moment of being authentic and genuine to wanting to give them the absolute best home value, because anyone can give out and spit out a value. The algorithm is pretty obvious. When you Google anyone's address, most likely Zillow comes back, Movado, Trulia, all these different search engines that are telling you one thing about your homes. Most of them are outdated, and they have no considerations for improvements or updates, let alone the actual true market value at the moment today. So it's how you communicate that to help people understand what you're going to give them as a service, is the value. It's something that's updated and it's true to what the current condition of that home is and the current market as well. And so you lead with that type of I would say video type of scenario, and then you ask questions that are not necessarily the obvious questions that are always the same. Like, have you done any updates or renovations that I should be aware of? It's what objectively everybody asks. What about subjectively? What do you love most about your home? What would you consider the most marketable feature of your home? You know, if there was one thing about your current home that you would change, what would it be? Questions like that are, you want to tie into the emotionalism of their home, because that's where all their memories have been formed. So it's psychology too. And then you got to understand psychologically, you're speaking to different people. Some might be one way on the disc profile. If you're understanding the disc profile, that's another great thing to look at as tools in your arsenal, because someone might be more analytical in nature and really numbers based and wants to see everything, versus someone who's just a driver who just give me the information I asked for. Darn it, you know what I mean? um, and so you'll fill that out as time goes by, but that's the kind of the beginning to this. And this similarly goes if you have text messages automatically going out, or if you have a service like I just learned about Smart Alto the other day, that is a textable ISA service, which is awesome. Well, those guys are also trained with asking questions and create conversation. That's why they're so successful. They understand it's not about just simply asking the question, have you done any renovations that I should be aware of, i.e. updates? It just sounds like a bot, right? So you got to understand, you almost got to reverse engineer some of the mechanisms that you want to go out to be more genuine in your personality and more friendly to you. And of course, we got a phone number, you pick up the phone, you be ready to overcome objections, because most of these people are going to be turned off, first of all, if you pick up the phone right away. So there is usually a 3 to 5 minute time delay that you want to find is your sweet spot. And then you're simply just proceeding with value, and you're really emphasizing, hey, this is a complimentary service. There's no obligation attached to it. It's my way of giving back to the community. And the only reason why I'm calling you is because I didn't want to get you something that was just an automation. I wanted to make sure you knew that this is something I personally work on and update all the time for you. I'm going to get you into a great system. It's called HomeBot. You're going to get monthly reports. I'm going to tune that for you. It'll also show you all this, that type of conversation.
Yeah, I think that if you understand, what we've been talking about over a few weeks, that what you're dealing when you're getting Facebook leads are top of funnel leads. And if you don't go for the close on the first call, right? If you understand that it's going to be a nurture process, I posted on my feed either yesterday or the day before that. If you want to close a lead from Facebook today or tomorrow, you should have started lead gen about 3 to 6 months ago, because that's usually the time frame on average that you're expecting to close deals from Facebook. I mean, there are always the exceptions, but on average, 3 to 6 months is a good number, because you need to nurture. And not only that, I mean, you already know the real estate game is a it's a long-term process. I mean, they're
This is
not
why
gonna
people fail out. I mean, what's the fail out rate of real estate?
it's
It's
pretty
like
high,
almost
especially
90%.
now it's even
And
worse.
it's going to get even more competitive. So you have to do what others aren't willing to do. Okay. And so I would recommend for anybody that is struggling out there, or is like, because you've got those people that are successful and they just become more successful. They know the elements of success, and they've been in the business for a while, and they probably have a great repeat and referral business. Everybody wants that, but they're not willing to put in the work that these guys, laid the foundation with. So for those people that are struggling or just getting into the game, it's all social media. It's all about creating influence, that know, like, and trust model. It's building a database marketing system, because you're going to only be able to take your own personal sphere so far right now, and a lot of people are just going to be like, well, you're due. There's going to be questions asked. So as you're starting to get into it, you want to create a funnel that you can look back on, and you're going to start planting seeds today. Today it's like we're in spring. We're planting the seeds in the garden. We're going to be nurturing those seeds. We're going to be cultivating those seeds. We're going to be building our brand with those seeds. We're going to educate those seeds. We're going to do everything we can to show them our value and present ourselves in a way that are market experts. But we're not going to sell. We're going to serve. We're going to serve, serve, serve. And before you know it, calls are going to start happening. You're going to be connecting with people. They're going to be checking in. They're going to be asking all those questions. They're going to be appreciating all the information. And all of a sudden, it just takes that one deal, right? And it starts dominating.
Yeah,
A
it's
lot
that
of people don't
momentum.
want to, they want those immediate results. They're not willing to put in the groundwork. You need to put in the groundwork, and you need to do that in the context of community. You need to do that in context of collaboration, right? You need to do that in the context of not trying to reinvent the wheel, like, R&D, rip off and duplicate, but make it your own. And you need to be ready to create the process behind that allows you to do that. And you got to find those people that'll show you that way. Don't do it alone. Don't be Samson. You know what I mean? Be the person that walks in the context of collaboration and community and finding like-minded people. And there's so much awesome education and training out there. Zoom meetings all day long, right? And not just Zoom meetings like this where we're presenting. Zoom meetings where you mastermind, where you come, like our masterminds, for example, starts in 12 minutes. Every Wednesday, our community comes together. There's 100+ people all over North America that come onto this call on Zoom. All their videos are turned on, which is powerful. And we're just sharing, we're dissecting. We're sharing our wins, we're dissecting them, and we're giving each other feedback based on where we are. Some people who have done dozens, if not hundreds, of Facebook deals, others who are just beginning. It's so much synergy happening and collaboration in that atmosphere. That's how you learn.
Yeah, being able to leverage, the people that can really help you is definitely a plus, right? Um,
Yeah, and that's what I can envision for real closures, is that type of mastermind community. You
yeah, we
know,
need to start doing some of those if people are willing to, want to jump live and just mastermind. Maybe we should do those once a week, once every couple of weeks. I'd be down for that because I think that when you hear, the members ask questions, we can really tailor the content that we put out there, right?
yeah,
Um, and I mean, so far, what we're talking about really on Wednesdays is everything about Facebook, right? About Facebook leads to conversion. Facebook is the least expensive way to get leads. It does take a bit of time. It is a nurture process, and like we talked about, it all starts with the conversation. I mean, your main goal should be to get that first conversation, right? Because
yeah.
that is going to lead the
You know,
way.
it's funny, and I'll just take like a brokerage, for example, EXP, which is 80,000 agents and growing, right? Their goal is to get to 100,000. Well, what you'll find is that it's very attractive for a reason, right? But there's this model and understanding that they have called frontline agents, FLAs, versus FLQAs, which is qualified agents. All of the FLA has to do to be qualified is basically close a deal in 6 months. It's $5,000 gross commission. Now, if we're talking about numbers of 50% of those guys haven't been able to do that, why? Right? The question is why? What are you doing? And they're not doing the right activities. They're not spending the right money. They may not even have money to begin. So they need to start and building the base, the foundation. And so that in itself is where I find the biggest struggle is for people who are just either getting into it, or they don't have mentorship. They don't have a good, collaborative community that can show them the way. Because I think it's a relationship based business, and if you're not in it to actually create authentic conversations and to build upon those conversations so that they'll naturally know and like you and begin to trust you, then you're probably in it for the wrong reasons. And it's probably been, you thought you were going to make a bunch of money. This is not a business for that. It's a relationship focused business. If you're willing to make that and build that foundation, you will become successful. It's just going to take some time.
And actually that's a good point, that you mentioned, right? Is like, who is Facebook lead generation for? And I think really the answer to that is because the way I see Facebook lead gen is a database builder, right? So who is it for? I think that if you're new, starting out, don't have a big budget, and are looking to grow your database and are looking to put in the work, and you have the time to put in that work, Facebook lead gen is the best way you can do that now. But at the same time, someone who's seasoned and they've been doing lead gen through other means, other things they do, you probably don't have the time to sit and call 100 leads a month, right?
Well, you're
200
not
leads
going to
a
be doing
month.
that. So you're going to be leveraged at that time.
Exactly.
So remember, I have lots of people. One gal I can think of in Las Vegas right now who does 50 deals a year. Facebook is a massive part of her lead generation, but she's learned how to leverage, right? She's created the systems, HomeBot, Follow Up Boss. She's got even KV Core mixed in there. She's got an ISA service, you know. Yeah,
And
but
that's what I
she's
was
still the
getting at,
brand.
right?
She's still the
Exactly.
brand. So you gotta wear all the hats in the beginning, which is where BombBomb comes in, and you can automate yourself, which is where automations with textable services come in. This is where HomeBot becomes really awesome when you consider the possibilities at $1 a day. So there are, as we talked about last week, a couple integrations that you have to be willing to invest in if you're
Exactly.
wanting to put into it. But yeah, I mean, it's just do your due diligence, do your research, go look for those people that in companies that like do that, and yeah, I mean, it's there, but you just got to be prepared that what's the currency that we all have. It doesn't matter how much money you make, it's time. So time is your currency. You will have to invest mostly in your time in the beginning as you discover how to put this all together. It's going to take a little bit of money too, and probably I would say set aside about $300 a month for Facebook ads. But that's easy to do. $300 a month, $10 a day, right? You gotta be able to start somewhere. So be prepared, in that capacity with maybe $1 a day integration in BombBomb, $1 a day in HomeBot, and then finding a system that has the ability for you to launch proven tested ads and funnels, which are the automations, the marketing funnel, and then a community that's going to help you learn how to create conversations and scripts and strategies and role play all around how to get those presentations right into conversations, and then learn how to convert and learn how to close, because you better have a good listing presentation as well.
Exactly. It all starts with the conversation, right? Set that um, baseline with your leads. Make sure you understand the nurture process. Have all these systems in place. As a new agent, yes, you do have to invest in your business. You're gonna have to invest, in it in order to start working your database, in order to start growing that database, in order to start, aiming for those deals. Once you start closing a deal, two deals, then you need to start systematizing your processes, right? Whether that's improving on the integrations that you use, whether that means adding an ISA, training an ISA to help you. There's so many things you can do, but it's all about scalability, right? Start somewhere, right? And again, Facebook leads is one way to get that database going. And I think, yeah. So, hey, Marcus, thanks a lot again. We're here every Wednesday, 8:30. We talk about Facebook leads, Facebook conversions. We've shown you ads, we've shown you templates, we've shown you scripts. We're going to continue to do this every Wednesday. So if you have comments, questions, drop them so we can tailor that content to you.
Awesome. Yeah, good conversation today.
All right, Marcus, have a good one. We'll
Hey, talk
talk
soon,
later.
Roberto.
All right.
Cheers.